All right, what's up, guys? So this is the next quick review in the series of books that I'm going to start trying to share lessons from, or just even just sharing the titles. So that again, like the first video said, it's motivating me to get through these books, to grab new books, share it, and then also try and retain some of the lessons learned. So this next one is the one that I recently burned through. It's Create and Orchestrate by Marcus Whitney. So this one was awesome. A little bit of context here. Marcus is a Nashville, is local here in Nashville, and I actually met him at the jiu-jitsu gym I was training at briefly. So he may not really, necessarily remember me all that well, but I definitely, you know, saw him coming and going at the gym. I think we may have rolled once, and so I crossed paths with the guy in jiu-jitsu. Seemed like a superb individual, and then connected on social media. I follow his Instagram and follow him on LinkedIn, and I'd actually seen that he wrote a book a while ago and was intrigued. But as I've gotten really interested in the finance, investing, kind of that higher level of business arena, I had seen that, hey, he is in the venture capital space, per his LinkedIn bio. So I reached out, hey, would love to connect, learn more about your space and what you're doing. Um, just see if I can gather some insight. And when he agreed, yeah, let's grab coffee, let's set it up. I thought, okay, well, the man has a book on the shelves, and if I'm gonna use some of his time, if I'm gonna ask for some of his time, I might as well really respect it and go ahead and get as much information on the front end as I can, so that I can ask good questions and really dig into what he's up to. So, I mean, this is an awesome story. Um, the guy basically, talks about his early kind of upbringing, but more just like that early, like I guess late adolescence years, whatever it is when you're like a teenager about to step into college, basically his early adulthood, or right as he's getting into adulthood. So talks a lot about that. He was inspired to write this book from a visit he had done to corrections, a prison of some sort, a jail or a prison. It was like a women's prison here in Tennessee. And when he told them his story, he thought, man, I gotta get this on paper and share it with folks. So I just thought that that's a really great reason to get it down on paper. And the guy has done some incredible things. He really was so again bounced around a bit from the Northeast to Virginia, back to the Northeast, and then to Atlanta, where he met his first wife, and then they moved to Nashville, and and he really like epitomized that classic like waiter to high level professional in a relatively ish short period of time. So he was here waiting tables, working a few different jobs, and then it was the early 2000s, so that the tech boom was in full swing, and so he recognized, hey, he had some early abilities in the way of computers. He had worked with them a little bit, maybe when he was a child. So he thought, hey, I can learn, I can self teach this stuff and get in on the action. So he did that, through like self instruction and finding people who could help him along and all sorts of different tactics. He bridge that gap from entry level service worker to a real tech professional, which is just that in itself is huge. It's amazing. Um, and just he does a great job of telling his story, and you're like right there walking along with him uh, at times, at points in the story, and to just be there with him, and like recognizing where he was talking about, hey, he was around other people who were happy for him in those work environments, in the restaurants and things like that, people want, hey, oh, you take a break and study. I got this. People really were motivated and pushing him, but he recognized that, like, there was people in his environment that were just staying where they were at, or weren't. And for him, it was like a mindset shift. It was like, hey, I am this person that I'm trying to be. So that you have to read the book to for him to do a better job of explaining what I just tried to explain. But I thought that was a really powerful message. Just like, I guess the message being that, no matter where you're at, you don't have to be that thing. Like, if you're in a position in life that you don't want to be in, or you want to be somewhere else, like, you're not stuck where you're at. Like, put your mind into the future of where you're at or where you want to be, and then just keep working towards it. And don't just accept, like, hey, I'm this thing that I am right now. So anyways, so that was great. And then what's really cool is it weaves in and out between his personal story, and then boom, just to very, like, instructional, tactical, like, business um, material. Like, just, hey, this is, an income statement. You need a tax professional. Just very, like, boom, 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 boom. Like, hey, if you're going to be in business, these are things you need to start be aware of and start thinking about, because he has kind of made these leaps and bounds from, okay, tech professional, to working with these, starting his own firm, his own tech firm, and then working with other growing tech firms, to then getting into the soccer industry, the professional sports world here in Nashville, as that was coming up, and then ultimately, doing what he's doing now, which is working with a big VC firm, and then he has his own platform that he's doling out some bucks on. And so, a lot of it's from that perspective as well. Like, hey, if you're trying to raise money, if you're trying to get capital invested into your program, what are things you need to be aware of? How does your presentation need to be structured? Things like that. So again, this is Create and Orchestrate by Marcus Whitney. I definitely recommend it. Just again, like, it can't hurt to just keep feeding the brain with positive stories of people who have done something. And I think the big image I'm left with this book, and especially that I get to have coffee with the guy, and chat with him here pretty soon, is towards the very end, talks about a couple of trips he made, like, kind of vacation type trips, where they ended up sort of hiking a mountain. So one was in some tropical island, I don't know, maybe Southeast Asia, something like that, Bali or something. And then the second one was in the Northwest, in my old stomping grounds in Washington State. And both times he talks about this, like, his professional life and business life he drew a bunch of analogies, and there's a handful of analogies to take away from the mountain deal, but the one that I think has burned most in my mind is that the minute you get to the top of that mountain, that's so imposed. Like, when you're at the bottom of it and you're looking up at the climb, it's so imposing, and it's such a monumental task, and again, you're just looking up way into the sky. That's where we're headed. And when you get there, when you get to the top and you have that feeling of accomplishment, you're now high enough on top of that mountain to look around and see, wow, look at that mountain over there, that's way taller, right? So just that analogy of, the minute you get to the top of whatever hill you're on, you're going to look out and see a bigger challenge, a bigger problem to solve. And from his perspective, and from many successful people that I'm trying to study, it's like, yeah, go get that next win. So can definitely relate to that, can definitely understand that. Okay, that minute you feel that sense of accomplishment, you start looking around going, all right, what's next? Where's the bigger challenge at? So thank you, Marcus, for putting your wins down on paper. I mean, that's another just really impressive part, is the courage it takes, to know someone in person and see the courage it takes to put your story on paper is huge in itself. So that being said, I hope you're all reading and learning and growing and finding new things to invest into yourself. And 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 that's all I got for today. So hope you're doing well, and we'll definitely be talking to you guys soon.